This October, Sarah and I made the long trek up to Lewiston and then the 4-hour drive into our cabin with Grandma and Grandpa. This was the last trip in of the year, and like every year, it was the trip in to clean up the cabin, carve some pumpkins, and prep the cabin for winter. We made it into the cabin pretty late Friday night, unloaded, made a fire, and went to bed. We woke up the next morning to a beautiful fall day. It was cold and crisp, and you could really tell fall was in the air. We got up pretty early because we had a lot to do. Lots of odds and ends jobs and some more firewood we had to cut. We went down on our own land and found some trees that had been fallen from a previous year's windstorms. My dad had this idea that we could cut these 8-foot long straight pieces out of the best parts of the trees that were already down on the ground, and we would be able to take them home and he could sawmill them and he could build my mom and him a bed frame out of these trees. He's done a couple of them before and they turn out absolutely beautiful, including one that he made for Nate and I as a wedding present. So we spent most of our morning getting these trees, hauling them back down to where we could put them in the trailer and take them back up to the truck. And of course, while we were at it, we might as well have got a little bit of firewood. Dad's never going to leave a trailer half empty, so obviously we carried in as much firewood as we can. The wood was beautiful, solid, and very heavy, and I was thankful for the help putting it in the bed of the truck. The 8-foot cut lengths were cut very purposefully so that they were just the right size to fit in the truck bed. Then we made some firewood and ate some lunch. After lunch, we went on a little 4-wheeler ride and sat out in the sunshine. I didn't film any of that just because it's a lot of work to film, and sometimes it's nice to just enjoy the moments while you're in them. That night, we had a fire, had some cedar steaks, as per typical up there. It was a beautiful evening with all the fall colors. After a wonderful steak dinner, Sarah and I began the long upheld tradition of carving pumpkins at the cabin. Me and my sisters have been carving pumpkins up here for as long as I can remember, and this year was Sarah's first turn to give it a shot. Sarah absolutely hated it. She froze up anytime the pumpkin guts got anywhere near her. She thought they were slimy and disgusting and refused to touch them. And if you put some on her, she would scream. So that was fun. But we made a Joe Vandal pumpkin, and it was a successful night.
Good job.
It was a little cold and wet Sunday morning when we woke up, and we found ourselves with still a ton of stuff to do to shut the cabin up for winter. And Sarah and I had a roughly 8.5 hour drive back home, and it was just us without Nate for the weekend, so that's a pretty long drive with a toddler. So we were trying to get through it as fast as we could, but we had a lot of work to do first. Dad had to replace one of the cabin posts and jack up the whole cabin on a hydraulic jack and put some new wood under there. We also had to replace both windows on the back deck because of how the snow sheds and accumulates on the roof in the winter. Taking the windows out and replacing them, Dad thought would be a pretty fast task, and surprise, surprise, it ended up taking a little bit longer than expected. But we had lunch, finished up any of the rest of the chores, packed up all of the things we couldn't leave in there over winter, which was a lot. It was a very, very, very full pickup and cab and truck bed and trailer, and then drove home, and it was a great weekend.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, big cabin.